Good afternoon, students. Welcome back to our social science classes. So let's begin our today's class. So I hope that all of you are doing well. So, yes. So before starting the lecture, I would like you to observe these images and tell me what you interpret from this. So yes, students, what you can see here. Yes. So if we talk about the first picture, so that is glaciers. So we can also how glaciers are formed. So basically, the melting of the snow will be led to the formation of the glaciers. Then the second image, this image is basically are of lakes. Then the oceans. So what are these? So these are the basic source of water. So from these things we get our water. So today we will be starting a new chapter, that is water. So water is a precious resource as we know. So let's begin. So now you have to think and you will be answering first, then I will be explaining later on. So can there will be a life on earth without water? So what do you think, students? Will there be a life? So the answer is no. With no water supply, all vegetation would soon die out. अगर पानी नहीं होगा, then vegetation will be dry out and it also will be die. And the world would resemble a brownish dot rather than green and blue one. Clouds would cease to formulate the precipitation and would stop as the necessary consequence, meaning that the weather should be dedicated, dedicated dictated almost entirely by wind patterns. So weather में भी बहुत फर्क पड़ेगा. The temperature will be rising due to this. If there is no water, so there is no survival of living beings, and weather will be also affected. So I hope that this thing is clear. So let's move towards the next topic. So what is the importance of water according to you? So I am giving you 1 minute to think, just think, and whatever there are your views, you can share. So yes, so water is life. Without water, we cannot even think of life. Its scarcity may create numerous problems, but its absence would definitely lead to non-existence of the living beings on earth. So, meaning thereby scarcity होगी, it scarcity होगी तो problem जरूर होगी, लेकिन water को हम बचा सकते हैं. We can save water. If there will be no water, then it will be difficult for living beings to live on the earth. And it is also a precious resource of nature. We drink water whenever we want. We feel thirsty. We use water in numerous activities such as washing clothes, cleaning house, floors, watering the garden, etc. These are the various uses of water. And industries also need water for their functioning, for their raw materials. So, like many of the industries are consuming more water. So that is also the reason like there is scarcity of water. So thus, we will be concluding that water is very essential and therefore we must conserve it. So I hope the importance of water is clear to you. Now you have to answer this question. Dash cannot be used in agriculture. Is it seawater or is it river water? So class, the right answer is seawater because it is very saline. So we can't use this water in the agriculture as it will basically harm the crop and the soil fertility. Yes. So before jumping to our next topic, so what you have to do, you have to think the answer of these questions I will be putting. So do you love to float paper boats in the rail puddles? So I hope like everyone is very fond of as you are in class 7th. So you must be doing that whenever there is raining. Yes. So I will be assuming yes. So you all love to float paper boats in the puddles. So the next question from me is that by noon the puddles will vanish. So where does the water go? What do you think? Where will water go? So yes, students. So water will either evaporate or it will be soaked in the ground. Yes. So now our next topic is that is the hydrological cycle and the water cycle. So now I will be explaining these steps one by one. So what you have to do, you have to listen me carefully and you have to explain in your own words. So the cyclic movement of water between surface of earth and atmosphere is known as water cycle. What is water cycle? The cyclic movement of water between the surface, the movement of the water between the surface and the atmosphere is called water cycle. So this is one diagram of water cycle. So let me explain you now the steps. So yes, so what is evaporation? So if we talk about evaporation, in this process, the heat from the sun causes the water present on the earth, seas, oceans, rivers, ponds and lakes. Then it will be evaporated in the form of water vapors and they will be rising up to the sky. Then the water vapors accumulate to form clouds. So what will be happening here? Like water vapors will evaporate and they will be rising up to the sky. Then it will be like bundle of the clouds would be formed. So this was the first step. Then the second step is condensation. So when these water vapors cool down sufficiently, they turn into the liquid state again. The procedure of converting from gaseous form into liquid is called condensation. So this was the second step where the gaseous form is basically converted into the liquid form. In, basically, we will be saying water vapors are converting into the rain, sleet or hail. Yes. So let's talk about our next step of water cycle, that is precipitation. So what is precipitation? Precipitation takes place when water vapors condense to turn into tiny water droplets and which will fall from the sky in form of rain, sleet, snow or hail. Then this was the third step and followed by the collection. So the water falling from the sky due to the precipitations gathers in different water bodies. फिर जो बारिश होगी when it will be raining, that will be gathering in form of oceans, seas, rivers and lake and so on. Then the water will evaporated again and this cycle will continue. So this is a never-ending cycle. So I hope all the steps are clear. Now I will be telling you some interesting facts about water cycle. Some interesting facts about water cycle are plants also contribute to the process of evaporation by way of transpiration. Plants may release some water on their leaves to get evaporated owing to the sun's heat. The combination of transpiration and evaporation. So combination of both these things is known as evapotranspiration. Sometimes water may convert directly into gaseous state, like water vapors from snow or ice will first melting into liquid. So that process is known as sublimation. When the water is directly converted into gaseous state. And evaporation affects only the water surface. Evaporation का काम क्या है? That it will be only affecting the surface of the water. Then hot water tends to evaporate it faster than the cold water. So now I will be giving you one homework. What you have to do, you have to find out like how hot water tends to evaporate it faster than the cold water. Now this is one homework for you. So yes, so now you have to answer these questions. Cyclic movement of water between the earth and the atmosphere is known as, what could be the answer? So yes, students, the answer is water cycle or the hydrological cycle. Yes. So now I will be showing you one video. You have to observe this video and recall all the steps of water cycle. Then we will be starting our next topic, that is distribution of water. So let me share my screen for this.
The basic element of nature.
Hi friends, subscribe our channel and click the
Yes, class. So observe this video very carefully.
bell icon today for more videos.
Water is the basic element of nature, and it is the main source of life in our earth. It covers 70% of the earth's surface, but actually, it represents 0.05% of earth's total mass. The total volume of water present in the earth is near about 1.386 billion cubic kilometer, 333 million cubic miles. Out of this volume, 97.5% is salt water, and 2.5% is fresh water. Only 0.03% of fresh water is present as a liquid form in the earth. It provides life, eases out heat, drains harmful substances, and mediates many day-to-day works. Today's topic is water cycle. The water cycle, also called the hydrologic cycle, it's a continuous process that includes 5 steps. These are evaporation, condensation, precipitation, runoff, and percolation. Now, we will learn with an example. Evaporation. The water cycle starts with evaporation. It is a process where water at the surface turns into water vapor. Water absorbs heat energy from the sun and turns into vapors from the water bodies like the oceans, the seas, the lakes and the river bodies. These are the main source of evaporation. Through the evaporation, water moves from the hydrosphere to the atmosphere. As the water evaporates, it reduces the temperature of the bodies. Condensation. In this process, water vaporizes into water vapor. It rises up in the atmosphere. At the high altitudes, the water vapor changes into very tiny particles of ice, water droplets, because the temperature at high altitudes is low. This process is called condensation. These particles come close together and form clouds and fog in the sky. In this process, changes the state of water from gas to liquid. This occurs because the water droplets combine to make bigger droplets. Also, when the air cannot hold any more water, it precipitates. At high altitudes, the temperature is low, and hence, the droplets lose their heat energy. These water droplets fall down as rain. Note: if the temperature is very low, below 0 degrees, the water droplets fall as snow. Water also precipitates in the form of drizzle, sleet and
Yes. So what like the video is talking about? So there are basically 5 steps. So we have seen the 3 steps: evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. Now we will be discussing about the next 2 steps. So you have to note this: if the temperature is very low, below 0 degrees, then water droplets will be fall as snow. Water also precipitates in the form of drizzle, sleet, and hail. So hence, then water will enter the lithosphere.
hail. Hence, the water enters lithosphere. Runoff. As the water pours down, in whatever form, it leads to runoff. As water runs over the ground, it displaces the topsoil with it, and moves. Runoff is the process where water runs over the surface of earth. When the snow melts into water, it also leads to runoff. The minerals, along with the stream. This runoff combines to form channels, and then rivers, and ends up into lakes, seas and oceans. Here the water enters hydrosphere. Percolation. Sometimes, this water turns into groundwater, or water that is soaked up into the ground. This process is called percolation.
So what is percolation? When the waters fall down and that is soaked up by the groundwater. So that process is known as percolation.
Water flows downward, under the layers of the soil, and then, it starts again. Thank you, friend, for watching.
So I have said that this process is never ending. So then again the water will evaporated. Then all these steps were followed again. So I hope like you are now clear like what are the various steps and what is the role of various things in water cycle. Yes. So now do you know like what part of the earth surface is covered with the water? Do you have any idea? Okay, so let me tell you. So 3/4 of the water is covered with, sorry, 3/4 of the earth is surface is covered with the water. So now we will be studying about distribution of water. So as you are seeing that there is like 100% Earth's total water. So from that 100%, only 3% is fresh water and rest 97 is salt water. That is the ocean. Then again it is divided into two categories: fresh water and surface water. So in fresh water you can see like groundwater is 30%, and the water in the ice caps and glaciers, that is 68.7%, and others is 0.9. So this was about the distribution of the fresh water in ice caps and glaciers and the groundwater. So we can see here the mostly fresh water is basically into the ice caps and glaciers. Then if we talk about surface water, so most of the waters are in lakes and swamps, that is 87%, and swamps are 11%, and in rivers there is only 2% of water. So this was the earth water distribution. So I hope that everything is clear. Now you have like, did you know Dead Sea of Israel has salinity of 340 grams? per liter, and swimmer can also float in it. So this was extra information from my side. So yes, so now don't you think we are wasting a precious resource when we use water carelessly? So what are your thoughts about this? We are using water judiciously, or we are just like wasting it? So yes, so we are wasting our resources and we are polluting them. So we have to conserve our resources for our future generations also. Yes. So now for you the next question, how much amount of fresh water is present on the earth's surface? So the answer is 3%. Yes. So today we discussed about how much water is important for the existence of human beings, water cycle and its various process involves in water cycle. We have also seen the video that is talking about the 5 steps. Then we discussed about the distribution of water on the surface of water, that is into two categories, and that categories are fresh water and surface water. Yes. So now you have to recall all the things we have studied today, then answer. So describe water cycle. So yes, students, the water cycle is an environmental phenomena that consists of basically three processes. So we have seen the 5 processes. So that too is extra for your general information. But there are only 3 processes mainly: evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. So there are dash number of processes that is involved in the water cycle. So if we will talk like broadly, then it is 5. If we will talk mainly, then it is 3. So you have to read the question very carefully, then you have to answer. So in this case, the answer is 3. Then the next question is, ocean water cannot be used in agricultural activity. Why? So because the salinity level of the water may result in the losing of the land fertility. So that will be harming the fertility of the land and the soil. So that's why the ocean water cannot be used for agricultural activities. Then dash amount of fresh water is present on the earth. So we have already discussed that is approximately 3%. So yes, so this was all for today's class. So now this is your homework. What you have to do, you have to take a world map, then list the important and major sea lakes and rivers. From that, you have to see and locate them also. Then you have to suggest some of the ways in which water can be conserved in your home as well as in your school. Then what you have to do, you have to name the one river that is hidden in the each sentence below. So you have to spot that river. For example, it is given here, Mandira, Vijay and Suresh are my best friends. So here, what is the river name? That is Mandira. So Mandira is a river. So these are 3 sentences you have to find. So hint is already given here. So you can think, analyze, then you will be doing that. So this was all for today. Hope you have enjoyed our lecture and the class. So let's meet in our next session. Till then, take care, bye bye, and have a nice day. Thank you.